Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Welcome you all on a very exclusive channel, DG Shiksha, where we get the information that inspires you. And today, I am here with very interesting session, which topic is breaking the barrier for students and parents, with our honorable guest, Mr. Amit Batra, who is inspired by his mission to carve diamonds into the stone. He is a retired army officer turned into entrepreneur, is popularly known as AB among parents, children's teacher. He is a kids life coach, a teacher's trainer, and expert in unrevealing the mysteries of subconscious mind. In this session, we will discuss about the significance of subconscious mind and the role of parents, school, and the overall life preparedness of child. So to begin with this session, I have a very beautiful quote which I would like to quote here is, you have to write the book that you want to be written. And if that book will be too difficult for grown-ups, then write it on yourself. So with this, I would like to welcome our guest, AB here. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir, on our channel.
Thank you so much, Rajima. It's my pleasure to be here.
So to begin with this session, all the audience is waiting for this. So to begin with this session, I would like to ask that you share something about yourself and what made you to bring this to field.
Okay, so this is my passion, my life, in fact. And the story goes long back. If I have to share what brought me to this particular field, started with my own journey, my own challenges in life. That was in my mid-20s. When I had turned very negative and pessimist in my life, pessimist to the core. I could fight with everyone, and that wasn't easy. Now, I know there are parents who believe that if our children are secured in terms of their career, rest, everything is fine. For me, that was where the challenge lied. I was professionally quite well placed, but my mental state was so disturbing, so challenging. And now I'm sure some of us can relate to it. We keep hearing so many stories where, youth taking extreme steps, despite they being financially and professionally quite well placed in their life. So I will say that perhaps I was not so bad, but was it any better? That was definitely not the case. So my journey started with changing my own mindset. I worked on my mind for next 17 years. And that was because not only, there was mental challenges, there were also physical challenges. Doctor had told me that I had the diseases that I had, acquired, picked up, they were non-terminal but incurable. So I had to live with them. So I decided to put everything else at stake and change my mind to make it positive. तो 17 साल मैंने इस दिमाग पे काम किया, अपने आप को पॉजिटिव बनाया, ऑप्टिमिस्टिक बनाया, and not only I'm mentally very healthy, physically also I'm very healthy today. I don't go ever to a doctor, I don't take any medicine, there is nothing of that sort. But coming to the point, what brought me to this is, as I was going through this journey, I realized the subconscious mind, that's so powerful, and it gets shaped up when you are a young child. तो आज की डेट में हमें जितने भी challenges आते हैं, right, which come from our mind, they are there because of the subconscious mind, which take shape when you are very young, right? And that's when I realized, if I have unraveled the mystery of the subconscious mind, if I could work on myself, I must make an endeavor to give it to the society in terms of helping these young kids acquiring the very right mindset, the positive mindset from the very word go.
That's very interesting. I hope that our audience will also be very inspired by you. So, as you talked about the subconscious mind, can you please ponder some information on it?
Sure, Adima. So, was subconscious mind is 90% of our personality. I know, most of us have heard about it, but we perhaps do not even realize the significance of it. We don't pay enough attention or enough time to learn about it. It's your subconscious mind which takes shape early, in your early childhood, and it drives you for the rest of your life. And that's actually your true personality. Consciously, you may think, you may learn, and then try to implement those things in your life. But if that's not part of your subconscious mind, it becomes extremely difficult to bring about those changes, or the way you want to carry yourself. So to give you a very small example, like if I'm not in habit of waking up early, that is basically because it's ingrained in my personality, my subconscious mind. But consciously, I may realize that waking up early is a good thing, right? There are so many of us who take the resolution on 1st of January that from now on I'll be waking up at 5 in the morning. I'll go to gym every day and keep fit. But how long does that last? 4 days, 5 days, in some cases, yeah, a month also, but not beyond that. So why? It's because of the subconscious mind.
Very right said. So, my next question coming to you is like, what is the most important aspect of child's life?
Okay, so continuing with the earlier point, the subconscious mind. Uh, Firstly, what we need to realize that from this perspective, it's 0 to 8 years of the child's life are very, very critical, right? Okay, and that is when the parents are playing a very critical role towards creating or shaping this child's personality, right? So the maximum influence is of parent during this period. Now, as the child step beyond these this early years, early age, thereafter the influence of outside environment increases manifold. Notwithstanding that parents still play a very key role. So the subconscious mind, which has taken shape earlier, is now getting cemented, right? So that is when, and this age is from 8 to 17 years. So 0 to 8 years is primarily how the parents are dealing with the child, and 8 to 17 definitely parents. And now, suppose there are some challenges which we see these days in so many kids: aggression, not interested in studies, acting very irresponsibility, picking up bad habits. So all that can be addressed from 8 to 17 quite easily. But that's when coaches like us who play a critical role. But then obviously we need to work as a team, the coaches, the parents, and so then it works very, very well. Now, coming to the point that you asked, one aspect which is very, very crucial, so that is something I would like to highlight here. Okay, and in bold letters I would like to mention it. It's the foundation. So there is no structure which can remain strong and stable for long without the foundation. I'm sure you will agree to that, right?
Right.
Any building, any system, organization, when you're talking about, the foundation is so, so important. But when it comes to kids, this is something we forget. And so I am perhaps assuming, because nothing can be universally applicable, but in most of the cases that I have come across, what happens as the child is born, so from the very, very young years, 2, 3 years itself, we get into the rat race. Okay, and we are trying to push this child to compete, to behave, to do well in so many things. and thereby we completely forget the importance of laying the foundation for this young child. So that is one aspect that we all, parent, society, we have to be very, very mindful of, laying the foundation for the child.
So with this foundation, I have one more question related to it, that what is this foundation all about?
Okay. Yeah, that's very, very important. In fact, that's where I see, firstly, okay. So firstly, when I interact with the parents, and when I ask them about this particular thing, most of us not even, or most of us don't even think about this thing, foundation, which I mentioned earlier, right? Because there are so many other things which are going on in our head. So, and then, when you ask them, if you, what do you understand by foundation for a child? So, by this answer, which I'll share with you, you will realize that how misplaced their thoughts are regarding the foundation. So, one of the parents shared with me that, he wanted to raise a happy child with strong values. Now, if you understand the values and good behavior and having good performance, which we generally seek in our child, are nothing but the outcome, right? That can't be the foundation. So if you have to compare this with a tree, the fruits in the tree, right, or the plant, that's the outcome you're looking for, the behavior. Okay, good behavior, bad behavior, right? Values and performance, which we generally see, these are nothing but the outcome of the fruits in tree or the plant, right? What about the roots? The root is the foundation. Now, coming to your point of what does foundation mean? So foundation has 5 important elements which we have to keep in mind. So which are these elements? Element number 1, that's making your child responsible, right? Point number 2, that is making him or her independent. Point number 3 is making your child strong physically. Now, when you say physically, it's not having those muscles, okay, 6-pack abs, which people are, ready to pump so much of iron on daily basis, sweating so much. I don't know if that is important. Yes, as some people feel. If you are in that field, say wrestling or something related, obviously goes without saying. But what is far more important when you're talking of physical strength is your immunity system, which if you see these days kids, that's one big challenge area, right? And this isn't that, don't you see that thing in youth also? So many young people falling sick, and seriously ill, in fact. Uh, so, so that is the first part of being strong. The second one is you have to make your child strong physically and yes, emotionally as well. In fact, that I consider is far more important. And that is again one thing which parents do realize, but my years of experience in this field makes it amply clear that adequate attention and efforts are not being paid there, right? Coming to the element number 4 of the foundation, that is making your child able to face failures. Okay, ability to withstand failures or setbacks. So not necessarily failures, so setbacks, right? You're expecting 90% marks, and for some reason, you see, you are not at your best that day. You end up scoring 85 or 80. You see, kids just completely breaking down, and it takes hell of a lot of effort for them to recover. So it can not necessarily happen because at that day they could not, that particular question they didn't know it. It can happen for various factors which is beyond their control. When that happens, the one thing that we all need to do as individuals in our life is to accept that, right? We need to accept something which is beyond us, and there are going to be in our life so many such situations. Like if you take the example of the present times, COVID-19. What is it that you, me, or anyone can do about it? We need to be accepting it and then emotionally strong and stable. That is going to work in our favor. So it's ability to, take failures in our stride. And the last element is ability to remain calm under adverse situations. So this forms the foundation. And if you have this in place, I tell you, the success is bound to come your way. There is no way success will elude you.
Very nicely quoted the point, sir. So, one more question coming into my mind, like, what is the right time for the parents to go for parenting for kids life coaching?
Okay, so what's the right time? A lot of conflicting views about it. Okay, uh, so there are so many people who think that when the child is, 10, 12 years or teenage or pre-teens is the right time for parents to start seeking help if it is required, or coaching or tuition and all these things, right? That is the time when you need to guide your child for future career and other aspects which may be important, like personality development also, if you talk about it. But one thing that we all need to realize is that when we talk of the foundation, right, the foundation gets laid much, much earlier. So if you don't understand these aspects from the early years or the formative years of the child, things may get delayed or may get really bad for you. As you see, we come across आजकल बहुत सारे challenges आ रहे हैं बच्चों के 10 साल 12 साल में ना, they're really get kind of getting out of control of parents. So and you hear these teenage issues. What is that? So I'll come to that particular point that you've asked me. So teenage issues, when they say, so teenage issues are what? Actually, they are nothing. They are what was already there, or whatever damage that had happened in the early years of the child. Now they are becoming visible to you, right? Now is the time when the child is 12, 13 years, and believe you me, almost every child who's 12-year-old start thinking, ab to main bada ho gaya hu, right? Now I know everything, and I don't need anybody's support. I'm independent. I can do this, what not. So parents' influence or control reduces significantly by the time they turn 12, 10, 12. And now the influence of outer environment is so much more. And this coupled with the hormonal changes which take place in our body when the child is 12 or 13 years old, now they find it really difficult to control the issues, or they don't even feel the necessity to control it. They show it, they turn aggressive, and it's visible in their behavior, in their conduct, and their daily life, right? So that's what tells you that it's very, very important for us to nip it in the bud itself in the early childhood. So when do you need to learn parenting or kids, coaching? That is when the child is 3, 4 years, 5 years. The earlier you do it, the better it is. So to give you an example, we are working with some young parents who have got their kids 3 years, 4 years, and it is showing exceptionally great results, exceptionally great results. And I tell you, now the future of these child. So by the time the child is going to, this child is going to turn 9 or 10 years, I tell you, if you have, thereafter, parents will not have to put in much of effort in ensuring child's growth. Rather, the child himself herself will take the responsibility. All that parent will have to do is to do the mentoring part of it, and rest of the job becomes much, much easier.
Very nicely said. I hope all the parents will get it. So, with this, one more question is there, like, what are the major roadblocks for in child's life?
Okay.
And
What are the
how, and like one more question with it is like, what is the role of parents in their child life? So how can we relate these two?
Okay, so let me answer this question that you have. What are the major roadblocks? So, which are the so as such, I believe we strongly believe in it. In fact, that each one of us has a hidden gem within. Okay, uh, our role primarily as parent, as their coaches, is to make sure that the kid realizes his or true potential, the diamond, the gem which is hidden. Our role is to keep it shining. That's our role. Now, what are the major roadblocks? Major roadblocks which I see in so many cases are nothing but the way we bring up our children, right? So, so many things which parent now at no point of time I question their intention. There is no question mark about that. Parents have positive, very positive, intentions, and they want best for their child. But inadvertently, they end up doing certain things which harms the child. Like I tell you, small little things like pampering, okay, micromanaging things for the child. There are so many parents, in fact, their parent who come and attend a webinar, and during the webinar itself, they share, sir, you have made this point, I am doing micromanagement. They are trying to overprotect their children. Now, each one of us need to be prepared, okay, need to be able to face the challenges of life. Now, when do you prepare your child for that? We think that when the child will grow up, say, go to the college or pick up a job, the child will, learn up or will be able to acquire those habits. Let me tell you, it's very, very difficult thereafter. So the point I told you about subconscious mind, right? That's there. That is going to drive you in a different direction. Okay, so if some of us live under that wrong notion that बच्चा तो जब 18-20 साल का होगा सीख लेगा, I'm telling you it's very difficult. I'm sure you can share some of your experiences if you try to bring about those changes. In fact, let me ask you this question.
It's like, what should I?
Yeah, so I see when I see young people, right? So if some of the habits which they don't have when they're young, they now if suppose, so let me give you an example. If a child has been irresponsible, not taking care of his own routine or small little things like bag, and now you expect this child to do those things for himself when he's 18 or 20, it doesn't work. What do you say, right? It doesn't work, okay, and it takes hell of a lot of effort. So you make sure that the child picks up these things at a young age. So parents have to make sure that they're not micromanaging things for the child. They are not overprotecting the child, right? Now what's their role? Let's talk about that. But before that, what is the role they are playing right now? And so many parents agree to it, okay. What's the role they are playing? They are playing the role of a manager, right? Micromanaging thing, or at best, managing maybe bigger thing. But what all they are doing is managing things for their child. In addition to that, there is another, very interesting role they are playing. They are also playing the role of alarm clock, right? Okay, beta, 6 बज गए उठ जाओ. Now it's time for breakfast. Now it's time for lunch. Now it's time for homework. It's time to go out. It's time to come back. It's time to study. Your exams are coming. That's an alarm clock job. But they are doing it. So their role is reduced to a manager and an alarm clock. What is it that they're supposed to do? Their role is to be a mentor, to be a guide in their life. After all, the wisdom and the experience the parents have because of the so many years of their life, kids do not have that, and that is what they need from their parents. The wisdom wisdom and experience along with the best intention, who else will have for the child? Tell me. But you hear from so many parents, kids are not willing to listen. So that wisdom and experience is all wasted when it comes to child's growth, isn't it? Right? It gets wasted. If I cannot share my wisdom and my experience with my child who needs the maximum, then it's entirely wasted. And why it's happening? Because you are playing a different role altogether, that is of manager and an alarm clock. And as long as you do that, you cannot be a mentor and guide for your child, which is your main role.
You said it very right. I can also relate that alarm clock and manager one. This session is very interesting. Like it's like I cannot end this session, like it's going very interesting, but due to the shortage of time, we have to end it anyway. So moving on to my last question is, can you share any of one of your concept you use for mentoring the children?
Yeah, sure, sure. So we have multiple, our own concepts, and they are very powerful. The kind of results that they are giving, even we are amazed. In fact, I also take this opportunity to share with you a couple of, case studies here, if you allow me. Right. So very quickly, I'll do that. So this one case which came to us, 5-year-old child, okay, a young boy who has become very, very stubborn. And he had, in fact, also become violent. Violent to the extent of, picking anything like phone or plates, those, you have, and used to hit his younger sibling with that. There's a case of jealousy which we hear ki bade wala thoda bada ho gaya, and the younger one comes to the family. Now suddenly this elder one has become very jealous of the younger one. So, and this child was not willing to listen anything. The parent just had no idea about it. They approached us and they said, we need your help. And we started working on it. All that we did, we changed certain things as to how the parents were dealing with this child. And so we said that, it is going to take some time. Don't expect things in a hurry. Things are really serious. They are bad. They said, okay, fine. As long as things move in right direction, we are okay with it. To our surprise, 2 months down the line, now there is so much of bond between these two siblings. The 5-year takes care of the younger one. And the mother says, this is, in so many years, this is the first time I'm really enjoying the motherhood. I'm having a great time now. And that child's behavior has become very positive. His happiness quotient, which was perhaps as parents shared with me, from 1, it has moved to 7 in 2 months' time. So that's the positive change. Very quickly, I'll share another case study with you. This 12-year-old child who had again become very aggressive, was back answering, was not at all willing to listen to the parent, was not interested in studying, was not socializing. All that he was doing was spending time on online gaming and YouTube videos, which we have so many cases. So parents were definitely perturbed a lot, and we started working on them. 1 month, okay. Again, when I talk to parent, I tell them, yeah, give me 6 months time, and I do not expect results happen, positive result coming earlier than that. But when we see this kind of result, we ourselves are shocked. So 1 month, and today I start receiving this positive from the parent. Our bacha has calmed down. He has to be told, wants to study, he is doing that. He's taking care of, a lot of things. He's of making tea for parents every evening. That has become a routine in 1 month. And they are a happy family now. So how does it happen? By applying some very simple but powerful concepts. So one of the concepts that we tell them is transferring the ownership. Ownership of child's growth to the child himself or herself. Okay. You don't have to be a manager. Okay, now you have to go and study. Now you have to eat food. Now you have to go and play. That's a manager's role. And then you see, it's child's growth. Ownership of child growth should be with the child, and we help them pass it on to the child. Child is happy because now that alarm clock is not ringing entire day, right? It's now 5 p.m. in the evening. Okay, get up, go play. Now 6 o'clock, come back. It's so irritating for anyone. Am I right? If I keep ticking you after every 1 hour or 2 hours, you'll get cheesed off. That's how humans are. So now that's not happening, but the child himself also realize that it's my responsibility, and the results are there. I just shared 2 case studies with you, which happened in a short span of 1 to 2 months. So these are some very powerful concept, and definitely the perhaps the most powerful concept that we have to share is transferring the ownership. Amazing concept it is.
Very rightly said, sir. Thank you so much. Like, we don't want to end the session, but we have to. There are a lot of questions, but we have to end it, and hope that we will catch you soon here again on our live session.
Thank you so much, Ridhima, for giving me this opportunity to share my views. Okay. So just to end it, uh, we live with the motto of carving diamond out of stone. Okay. And what we say is, the children who are most difficult, you bring them to us. We will carve diamond out of them. Parents say children don't listen, they don't share. You say, we have not come across a child who does not listen or is not willing to share. They are more than happy to do it. Right? So, AB Kids Life Coach, Carving Diamond, Creating Leader, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. We are very opportunate. We are very fortunate to have you. Thank you so much. As we have reached end of this program, I would like to tell everyone, like, we are celebrating Guru Purnima series in this week, and tomorrow also we have a very interesting session with two more mentors of different schools telling about the journey of 3SRC members. So I hope you will catch us live there at 12:30 p.m. And till then, keep us like, subscribe, and share our channel. Thank you so much.